Okay, so in this one, what we're going to do is bring in our bass line. And in techno music, the bass tends to be quite low and subby and sort of chugs along with the tune. And you'll notice from the drums that we've already put in, we do have a lot of bass going on there anyway. We've got the low toms and we've got that sort of bass, pitch down bass falling sound. And they all sort of bring their own bass line to the table when it comes to this tune anyway. So the bass line that we're going to put in is going to be below that again. And it's going to be quite it's not going to be overly recognizable. You're gonna feel it if you're in a club or whatever. It's going to be a nice subby bass, and it's going to carry the tune along. But it's not going to be in your face bass as it is. So I'm going to insert a new MIDI track, and it's going to rename it to bass. And we're going to use the Sylenth again for this. Check out the next tutorial if you don't have a copy of Sylenth, and that explains how to create this bass line without it. So I'm going to just initialize the patch. And so you can hear there we've got a bog standard saw wave. So we're going to change this to something a bit more subby. So we've got the pulse waves here. I'm going to go for the H pulse. I'm going to bring the volume back on this because we're going to use this just to add a bit of character to the subbiness, and we'll create the subby part of it in the next oscillator part. So I'm just going to pitch this down by 1. I'll bring it down by 12 semitones, which is just 1 octave. And then I'm going to push it through a filter and turn up the overdrive. And it's going to bring back the cutoff frequency. So we're nice and low. Bring it back even further. So you can barely hear that. And I'm going to go down to the mod envelope 1 here, and I'm just going to insert the cutoff A and B into this. And if I turn that up, what this will do is create an envelope for our cutoff frequency here. So it'll just boost it and then bring it back down again for us. So I'm going to increase the decay time. So this will turn on instantly and then fall down depending on this decay time. So the decay time will dictate the length of time it takes for that to fall back down. So you can hear there the oscillator's opening, or the cutoff frequency is opening, and then falling back down. And the lower that is, the quicker it happens. So we'll leave it about there. Let's add a bit of resonance as well. And then if we go to part B, I'm going to bring in a couple more oscillators. I'll just turn the voice on this. And we'll keep the volume up full for these. I'm just going to add a triangle wave, which has got a nice subby characteristic to it. And bring the oscillator down by an octave. And then I'm going to add another voice over here. We'll go for the tri-saw and bring this down an octave. So we've got a real thick sub now. And then we'll turn the filter on. And we'll do the A and B, oscillator A and B are coming through this filter. And we'll turn the drive up. And we'll bring the cutoff right back on this. So there you go, we've got a nice thick bass, which just drops down to 0. So you can see there it just fades out as we hold down the note. So I'll add a touch of resonance as well. And we'll bring the master filter back. And add a touch of resonance. And then if we go to mod envelope 2 here, I'm just going to increase the spike on this initial cutoff frequency. So if we go down and select cutoff frequency A and B, it's going to add another envelope to this and then increase the decay slightly. So we'll get a nice click at the start there as we get another envelope sort of adding onto this one. So you can hear the more we push that up, the higher the cutoff frequency will open. Just want a nice wee click. So that's fine. So if you go back to part A here, obviously the amount you introduce the volume to this part changes the whole characteristic of the sound. Just leave it about there, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to program in a quick bassline pattern. So we're going to go down to nice and low in our mix. then I got to add the shuffle onto this as well. So if we double click on that and we go down to the bottom here, we've got the groove. I'm just going to select our swing 75 from there, which will just put a swing onto that as well, which is across all of our other patterns, so that should just keep it in time with the rest of our tune. And add a bit of a characteristic to it as well. So I'm going to add a compressor onto this. I'm just going to expand out that, go to the side chain, select our drums, and then our kick, number 2 is our main kick, so bring back the threshold. I'm going to just do a nice hard compression on this. We'll introduce the knee as well, just to soften it up a bit. It's fine, and then I'm going to add just a touch of distortion using the Redux, just to give it a wee bit of a fizz. And we'll go for the soft down sampling. Gives that sort of impression that it's sort of almost broken. And then we'll just drop an auto filter on this just to keep it out of the way of the rest of our tune. So okay, so that's the bass line in. If you want to check out the next tutorial, it shows you how to put the bass line in using the simpler, as I've bounced out these samples for you to import into using simpler if you don't actually have a copy of Sylenth. If you've got that, just skip on ahead to module 9.